Oh, hello, Morgan. This is Wilbert T. Sass. T stands for Ted. Coming to you from the Palace in Omaha, Nebraska. It was a joy talking to you late yesterday, and I've had a chance to have a couple hours sleep now, and I've been working on a little presentation for you, as I mentioned to you that I would do, so that it could help you bring into focus the opportunity that I believe I present to you. Uh, uh, you're to be congratulated, Morgan, and your other people that are in business with your forward thinking and your concern about the environment of our precious earth. Uh, the paper straw initiative, I guess, is the best way to put it, to eliminate the plague of all the plastic straws that have really messed up our environment. And the quicker we get that under control as a segment of the whole process of our precious earth and cleaning it up, we've taken advantage of it over the decades and the decades and the hundreds of years. And it's time now, and I think we're becoming more aware now today about the importance of paying more attention to where we live. So, but the thing about a particular initiative, when the brilliance of initiative and originality and a connection to the process and to the goal, to the mission, that connection, it doesn't go unnoticed by your competitors. And this is what I mentioned to you in my original email that I sent to you when I responded to your recruiting post at Rep Hunter. I pointed this out early in my email response to you because it's so critical in the understanding of the overall approach to marketing and advertising, brand reputation, the connection between your benefits of your product and your mission and your concern for the environment by going to pushing paper straws, selling paper straws that are so premium in nature. Uh, all of that is laudable and it's important and it's critical for the future of consumerism. The understanding, the education of that process is critical, but it's not, as I say, it doesn't go unnoticed by your competitors. So, in addition to all the benefits that you already have established, you need to have a marketing system, an advertising system, a reputation management system that recognizes that you have competition that will follow you with your leadership in your paper straw uh, approach to solving the problem of plastic straws. You have to have a marketing system and advertising system and reputation management, brand management, marketing advertising program that sets you apart from all the others who will follow because the market is so great. It's inevitable they're going to follow. So you need to have in your company, with your unique company, a way to set yourself apart from those who will follow you. Now, one thing that you make a big point about in your collateral material that I've read on the internet and your website is the pricing structure of your straws. And that's wonderful. I'm not in any way saying that you should offer your straws at a higher price, of course. But the problem with price, the problem with being the price leader is that it's almost like throwing up a red flag to your competition and saying, "Beat my price." You know, they're going to do it, or they're going to try, or they're going to figure out something because they're not going to just sit there and let you take the share, are they? There's some pretty big companies in the straw business. You see what I mean? So while you've led the pack, so to speak, the straw pack, straw producer pack, and you've got that price advantage now. The question is, would that price advantage hold in the future? And the other question is this: is price the best way to build on a marketing advertising program, especially when yours is exclusive? In my opinion, and my humble opinion, I would recommend to you that the price angle be played down. Although important, people, uh, customers are going to find out quickly that with all the other advantages you offer them with an exclusive marketing program that your competitors can't follow, if you're offering them a good price too, then they've got the best of all worlds. Okay. And they're business people who are going to be involved with this, and consumers, none of them are basically, they may be ignorant, but they're not stupid when it comes to price. If they can get what they want, if they can get the benefits of what they want from a lower price by simply moving where they're doing business, then they're going to do it, aren't they? It's a question of them finding out about this, and that's how my marketing plan is designed to be able to allow them to find out about it, even though the typical local independent business owner doesn't have really any way to advertise because they're just one business. Now, if you're talking about franchises, that's a different story. But I don't sell franchises because I believe they have an unfair advantage. I happen to own 10 franchises, bought 10 franchises back in 1969 by one of the largest franchises in the world at that time and now. And I learned very quickly within a couple of years that buying a franchise was like buying a job. Basically, you're working for the franchise company and as the franchisee, and that has been developed into a really big, full blown, in my opinion, problem with buying franchises because franchises force the franchisee to price gouge customers. They on top of regular operating costs, on top of profit that the franchisee has to earn, they have to pay up to 30% more than add to all that in order to pay the franchise company. In addition to the fact they're forced into AAA real estate locations that were spotted 10 years down the line previously before when because these franchise companies go to the planning, the road street planning departments of local cities and counties and states, the road planning and federal road planning, and they spot the planning that's 10 years out or more. They spot these locations on these commercial streets that are being plotted for the future, and they take options on the corners, the AAA corners, uh, and that's why you see the franchises on the best locations in the on the commercial streets in these cities, because that was all done, in thinking way in advance of actually ended up building the building. But of course, the development in those areas of the planning, where those commercial streets have finally gone, by nature have caused that real estate to be AAA real estate, the highest priced real estate there is in a city. And so all of that cost is piled on to they're forced to buy the brand image franchise building. They're forced to pay the AAA real estate property cost investment and building investment, construction investment, plus a profit to the franchise company in the combination of being forced to pay that in a form of a lease payment each month, and all of those extra expenses come off of the top of the menu price or the service price or the product price of the franchise. So when you total that all up, now the franchisee is charging at least up to a third more than what it costs to actually provide the product, provide the service, and make a profit on doing that because of the franchise company that's sitting there on the top, taking that top 30% off or adding it to the cost of operation. So it's franchise price gouging. You can't describe it any other way. Now, what's the problem with that is that franchises only amount to a small percentage of the 23 million local independent business owners that are operating. But the local independent business owners have one business or two or three maybe in a city. And so they don't have the economy of scale to operate and certainly don't have a marketing budget that the franchises do. So they are in a position where they can't do the marketing and advertising that the franchises do in their category, and you have to start thinking about categories because it's not enough just to be competitive for disposable income in a marketplace. When there's disposable income that's being used by consumers out in the marketplace, that disposable income as a total is filtered down into several different categories of businesses where they spend that disposable income. So it's not enough to go after the income demographics alone. Because when you do that, you shut out at least a half of the consumers, because half of the consumers are listed according to data available in the low income zip codes. So in addition to the concern about pricing positioning, which you're involved in that with your business plan, no doubt about it. But in addition to that, you have to think in terms of categories, categories of businesses. And when you think in categories, if you think of the internet directories, when you go to an internet directory, you want to find a certain kind of a business. That certain kind of a business has a keyword that's associated with the type of business it is, the kind of business it is. So if you put restaurants in, you get if you don't put in the kind of restaurant, then you get a whole list of restaurants. But every one of those restaurants, excluding the duplicates and categories, list a different kind of a restaurant where different kinds of food are sold. So in marketing, you have to think not only in terms of the total market of dollars that are out there to impact, but you have to think in terms also of the categories where the money's going to come from to impact marketing, to make the market share that you're trying to affect grow. So that's the way my business plan works. It concentrates on categories, and I branded it. I have a .com called Market or Business Advertising by Category.com, because the business advertising has to be by categories, and you have to also find a way to make that advertising exclusive so that consumers who are already spending money in that category, in their city, in their zip code, and maybe in their carrier route with certain businesses that they go to in that category. And my business plan seeks to move those consumers from spending money at those businesses where they're already spending money and just simply moving it over to businesses that are part of my uh, marketing, advertising, membership associates business plan. that all centers around progressive savings coupons for consumers. And by that, I mean it's not just enough to get a customer over away from another business because you're offering something, a discount or whatever it is. That's not enough because if you don't offer something that is continuous, some way to hold that customer once you get him, if you don't have some, they'll go back to where they were. And most businesses, not most, all businesses have certain costs that they operate under, and they have to live with those costs when they price to whatever they're selling. Otherwise, they invade their profit margin at the bottom line. So they have to find a way to increase that top line without affecting the cost of doing business. So that they are taking, when they're taking business away from the category in their zip code, in their carrier route, in their city, when they're taking business away from their competitors in that category and moving it over to their business, they have to have a way that keeps the customers there. And that's where my progressive savings coupons come in. And that's how I have, in your particular company's product, I've wedded or I've connected the two concepts. And instead of them being the traditional coupon, your straw your paper straw wrappers become the coupon, and they become the validation for the continuing purchasing process in order to keep the customer coming to our membership businesses by zip codes and carrier routes. And the progressive savings coupon concept that I've developed has a cycle of 4 continuous purchases and validating each one to get an increase discount each time, so that the 1, 2, 3, 4, each time it's increased. And when you get to 4 as the consumer, you get the maximum discount. And then since it's progressive, it goes and starts over again. And you start out with your next purchase, which is be the 5th purchase from the first one, and that's where the lower discount starts again, and then you get a better discount the second, third, and the fourth go around for the second cycle of the 4 purchases in a row to maximum discount. And it just keeps cycling like that, so that you're constantly achieving maximum discounts when you're doing business with the business that is identified as the paper straw mama business in their zip code where they work or where they live. And that's all listed by links, so that people can find them by my internet zip codes, internet directory concept. Because first of all, the internet name and the zip code name is very well established in people's minds. So when they see internet zip codes, that's a curious thing. They're not used to seeing that. They're used to seeing zip codes. They're used to seeing internet, but they're not used to seeing the two together. And the link takes them to the zip codes by state and by cities, by zip codes where they live, because they have registered to get access to that information by putting in their email address and the zip code where their address is, where they live, and the address where they work. That's a zip code. So in this way, they're able to find the merchants who are exclusive local independent business owners, no franchises, no national companies, because we don't want to carry that heavy burden of that extra cost and pass it on to the consumers. We want to be able to save the consumer that without affecting our member, local independent business owner exclusive in a zip code or carrier route, without affecting their profit. And that is done by increasing their top line without affecting the cost of doing business. Because my marketing advertising program is only $30 a year and $9 a week. And that doesn't affect their profit. That doesn't affect their operating costs. in any way that's important with the incoming new business that is as a result of my business plan. So there comes a point each business is able to decide for themselves how much of a discount they want to give because there's different cost structures in different kinds of categories of businesses. But in restaurants, where the most of the customers will be, because that's where the biggest market is in terms of repeat daily purchasing. You've got millions of people that are going out and buying food every day in retail food stores and delivering food to them, and so and each one of those places they're going is a specific category, and so 50 to 60% of my membership will be restaurants. And they're exclusive in the way that only have one category of a restaurant in a zip code, or if there's two in a zip code, they have to be in different carrier routes because the amount of people, the amount of customers that's in a zip code is tens of thousands of people in every zip code. So there's more people there than a business can handle if they got it all or anywhere near all of it. So, but there's enough of it that can, when they come to their business because of the exclusivity, they can set their discounts according to how much business they can handle. The more business they can handle, the more that they're going to want to increase discounts each of the four purchasing trips by consumers, because that will hasten and make the rapidity of the gaining of customers away from other competitors, local independent restaurants and other businesses in their category, in their city, in their zip code, in their carrier ride. The higher the discount, the quicker they're going to be able to suck consumers over to their business, and without affecting their bottom line profit, because of the increasing top line without affecting any material way that makes offering the discount not profitable. It's called basically, if you look into the depth details, it's called the law of diminishing returns. There comes a point at which the uh, the uh, uh, the amount of discount you offer, and the amount of customers that take advantage of it, there comes a point at which when you add your costs in, it begins to affect the profit line at the bottom. So you have to balance the discounts that you offer depending upon the kind of a business you operate and the market that you can draw, the market share that you can draw from competitors, because you're offering them something they can't get anywhere else can't get from your competitors. And the same thing is true with the other people in the straw business that you compete against for that straw market. My program puts your company in a position where your competitors for the straw market, the paper straw market, they can't follow you, and you're not involved with a constant battle about pricing to sell new customers. Because when people become members of MAMA, Marketing, Advertising, Membership Associates, by zip codes, they're exclusive in the category, and they're having to buy your straws in order to offer the paper straw wrapper cash values of the paper straw wrapper that they get to validate each successive trip to our independent businesses by zip codes and by carrier routes. So you're locked in from the standpoint of cutting out your competition on the straw market, and you're locked in terms of why the customers will continue to come, because in order to get the paper straw cash discounts, they've got to validate, and the way they validate is to use your straw wrappers from your company, from your paper straw production. And so it sets you apart from competition in every way, without getting into the constant price battle as the market for paper straws begins to expand greater and greater and greater. You put yourself in your company in a unique position that your competitors can't follow. Okay, and so it's a unique program, and it needs understanding in order to be able to grasp the whole concept. But I think you're on the road to that on the basis of your responses to me when we talked on the telephone later today. This video, I hope, will help to cement that, bring it together in a more just a greater reinforcement of our conversation. And when we speak Friday at 2 p.m., I'll call you. It's 2 p.m. Central Time. I'll call you, and we'll continue our conversation. And so thank you very much. And I'll look forward to speaking with you further, Morgan.